Hello to all students, any staff members, teachers, parents, pets, cats, dogs, whoever you may be. This is our first probability video. This probability video is going to talk about the probability scale. Now that's not a scale that you're going to weigh yourself on. There's no probability scale for that. This is the scale that we use to determine everyday events. Now for many of you, this is going to be our first flipped classroom video, so hopefully it goes over well. I'm sure it will because I have two very fantastic people with me today. But before I get to them, I'll let you know my name, as always, Mr. Benjamin. Alive and kicking. Happy face. And who else is with me right now? Nobody, apparently. Nobody's with me because they won't answer.
Mrs. Podlipski is here. Mrs. P.
Don't use white. I used white. Use a different color.
I don't want to use a different color.
Oh, and her face is better than mine, too.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and here is Mrs. Terrio.
See, Tara knows what she's doing. She's grabbing a different color.
Mrs. T.
Mrs. T. Ooh, somebody's cool.
A very nice, happy face.
Now, okay, I gotta fix my eyes now, because you guys are all like, ooh. There you go, see? And I have eyebrows. Neither of you two have eyebrows. Too bad.
We whacked them off.
You waxed them off? All right, go Podlips.
Okay.
Get in there.
So your learning goals for this lesson, the first one is to use probability to describe everyday events. So everyday events could mean anything from like the probability of it raining on any given day. We might be talking about the probability of you doing well on your probability test.
Very unlikely. No, I'm joking.
Hopefully that's very likely. And in order to do this, you're also going to be expected to use key terms from the probability scale. So that's what we're talking about today. So key terms might be something like impossible. So impossible, meaning that it's a 0 probability, all the way over to something that would be likely or even certain.
Like, it is certain that you will enjoy this video.
So Mrs. Podlipski's class, they will certainly do well on their test following this
And
flipped
Mr.
classroom.
Benjamin's class will certainly do better than Mrs. Podlipski's
Oh,
class.
I think that we have a
challenge?
A challenge here. We'll
And
see.
Mrs. Terrio's class, well, no, she's not even going to get into it, right? Because I'm going to tell you how this works. This is a flipped classroom video. So, if we look over here, we can see Bart has flipped his classroom. Even though he's saying, I will not flip the classroom upside down. His face is in the way. There it is. There he goes. So, what we do with these videos, normally in our everyday class, we go to school. Geez, somebody didn't go to school. They can't write properly. School, and at school you do a lesson. When you go home, you generally do some homework. And you know what, that's a very old school way of doing things, which has its benefits and its negatives. What we're going to do for this video and for the rest of this unit is slightly different. At school, you know what, we're going to talk about at home first. At home, what you're going to do is watch this video, and that's your lesson. And when you get to school the next day, you will do your homework in class. And we will go over these concepts together to make sure everyone understands. But it's slightly different than normal. It'll all make sense the more we do this. Oh, skipped a page, my bad. There you go, Terry.
So what I am going to explain now is the probability scale. So the probability scale. Okay, so in this scale, we have some terms that Ms. P already explained to you. But you can see here the scale. You go from impossible, unlikely, even, likely, and certain. What does this all mean? You have to know that an impossible situation is when there is a 0% chance that it will happen. So there is many impossible things. Unlikely, it will be as in a small chance that happen. Even would be 50%, 50-50 that it would happen, and certain will be 100%. So you see, you have the two streams. You have the impossible, and you have the certain, and in the middle, a 50-50, like flipping a coin. But the impossible in here I'm going to give you an example of a zero chance that it happen. What will be the probability that tomorrow will be Sunday? So think of that. That is a zero chance that will happen.
It depends on what day they're watching this video.
Well,
What if they spend their Saturday nights watching the videos that we prepared?
Which you should be doing on Saturday
no,
nights,
well,
right?
today is Tuesday.
On the day of recording this video, it's
Today, yeah, well, today is Wednesday, right? Today is Wednesday. If today is Wednesday, what's the probability that tomorrow will be Sunday? So that is a zero chance that will happen, right? So now 50-50 is when you have a penny or have a coin and you
Nobody
flip the
uses
coin.
pennies anymore, Terrio.
Well, flip the coin, flip a loonie or a toonie, flip a coin, okay? Flip a coin,
Do you have any coins? I don't have any coins.
coin. And in here, the certain, what will be, okay, Mr. Benjamin, can
You want a
you tell
certain?
me when it's certain 100% that will happen tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
I mean, in any situation.
in
not
any
just-
situation? Okay. So I always think of the sun rising because the sun always rises.
Well.
Is that
but-
not certain?
Yes, it's certain, but you don't always see it.
All right. It is certain that I will need oxygen to live.
Yeah, that's 100%.
100%.
That's a good.
Without
that's a-
oxygen-
That's a good one.
But you don't want 100% oxygen.
Well,
good.
no, I don't want 100% oxygen.
Now-
Stop confusing me.
Now, Mrs. P is going to give us an example of unlikely, that is in between impossible and even.
Okay.
What
so
would you say?
I'd say unlikely would be snow in July.
Yeah,
right?
very
so
unlikely.
it's possible and it would happen rarely, but so
But
you're not going to say it's impossible.
It falls
because-
on this category. for
Yes.
sure.
So it's less than likely. So it's unlikely. Yeah.
So, unlikely, Mr. Benjamin?
Why did she get unlikely and I got likely? I don't want likely.
Okay.
Can I give you another unlikely example?
Sure.
It is unlikely. It's extremely unlikely. Right there. It's unlikely that you will win the lottery.
It's unlikely.
It's unlikely.
That's true.
It could happen.
And
But it's
I
very
would say it's more
It's closer to impossible,
yeah,
right?
it's
But
very
people still win it.
direct into that way, the impossible. Yeah,
So, Miss Terrio, how about you give us a likely?
it's true. A likely one, it would be like you are eating turkey at Christmas time.
Oh, okay, that's likely.
I don't know, it's very likely, right?
But you could be a vegetarian.
Yeah, but most of the
Uh-huh,
people, most of the people, right?
Most people. Okay, that's very assumptuous. Is that a word?
Yes.
Making an assumption. Assumptuous. Here.
Right, so I hope this,
Scale?
is clear.
Yeah, and if not, we'll go through it together as a class the next day. So, what is the probability that? We're going to give some examples and we're going to see what we think. So, what is the probability that your dog lives to be 100? 100 years old. What do you think, Miss Ariel?
I think that will be impossible.
Wait.
Impossible.
Wait. What about dog years?
Impossible,
What
Miss
about
Podlewski.
dog years?
Okay, dog years. Fine, we'll do dog years. What about dog years?
So 100 in dog years?
Yeah.
Is what, like
That would be-
12? No.
That would be likely.
It's 7 years for a dog year.
It's 7, yeah.
Seven
Really?
dog
Oh, I
years
didn't
is a
know that.
human year.
Yeah.
So we'll say that's likely?
I would say likely. Unless your dog has hip dysplasia or something.
I didn't know these dog years.
Okay, so fine. In dog years, it's
Equivalent.
likely.
But in human years,
In human years, impossible. Impossible. But dog years, we'll give likely. Do we have another example?
what about the weather? We
The
talked
weather.
about the weather. Often on the Weather Network, you'll get the percent chance of precipitation, and that's a scale in itself on the likelihood of seeing any kind of precipitation happening.
That's right.
So why don't we ask if it's, or what's the probability that it will rain tomorrow? What do we think?
So that would be 50-50. Even.
But
And
it's
for this, we'll
forecasted,
put
right?
even.
Oh, for the forecast, yeah. Okay.
For,
So
is that
if there's-
F-O-R-E?
So if there's a
Yes.
storm coming, it will be more than likely. It
Right.
will be more than even.
If you see like a 80% of precipitation,
That's
that will
right.
be likely.
Yes.
Yes. So when you see the percentage. But if I'm not watching the Weather Network or whatever it is, and you ask me, what's the chance that it will rain tomorrow? I would tell you 50-50.
All right, so that covers the weather. What else we got? Maybe one more, because this video's almost at 10 minutes.
Oh. Okay.
Time flies when you're having fun.
What about the probability of
passing the test.
getting a good marks.
If you study for your tests,
That will be certain.
then you would be likely to certain
If you study, likely.
to get a good grade. If you don't study, or if you're not prepared for class, if you don't listen, you don't watch your videos, then you'd be closer to the unlikely or
Maybe even impossible.
To get a good grade.
So it'd be silly not to study for your tests.
That's right.
So we are going to try this. We're going to leave a comment, but what kind of comment are we going to leave?
Okay, well,
It'll be a comment. It'll be a question.
yeah.
You have to think of your own probability question.
Right, so can you take a look at the probability scale and take those 5 terms and make your own example of situations where you can have a 0 chance of happening, an unlikely situation, an even situation, and likely situation, a certain situation.
And we're also going to comment on another individual's.
and answer their questions.
Exactly. So there. And that. Comments on another question to answer it.
That is very easy and
I think it's something they can handle.
sure.
Well, my class can, for sure.
Yeah, but my class is better than yours, so.
We'll see.
Yeah, no,
My
we know
class
that.
is even better.
Mr. B's class is, we'll just put a greater than sign. Miss P's. And put a little bit of a,
Sad face.
that's not a sad face, it's a tongue out face. I don't know what the name for that face is, but anyways. So as always, we are going to say thank you in big purple letters. Sometimes it's a different color. In fact, let's change this color. Miss Budlipski, what color would you like?
Pink.
Pink. Well, we already have purple. We got a pink too. Okay, that's fine. Thank you for watching our video. Super happy face. And we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Hi.
Pie?